righty. It is preparing. It's probably already live because it always does this delay, which is really kind of funny because it'll say that you're not on Facebook, but you really are. And hey guys out there in Facebook world, this is Barbara Hort with I Am This Woman. And we usually don't come to you on a Monday, but today we are because we have a special guest. I'm super excited for Meghann Curran to be on the show. This is super awesome because if you guys know, not last Friday, 2 weeks ago, Frankie, her husband, was on the show. Frankie is one of my closest and dearest friends. And so Meghann reached out to me and said, I want to be on the show too, because we talked about Meghann a lot on the show and everything. And I know them quite well. And that little Emma Kinst, who I just simply adore, that little baby girl of yours. So thank you and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, definitely. So, we kind of had Frankie on there, and then you were like, "Hey, I really want to kind of come on the show, and I want to talk and everything." So I'm kind of giving you the space. What is it like you were talking about? You are married. You are working from home right now. I know Frankie is a stay-at-home dad. Now he works, but during the day he stays at home. Something when I know my son was young, that's what happened is that I took care of him at night, and his dad takes care of him during the day. So this is what, just in case if you don't know what Emma's going to turn out to be, look at Daryl in there.
Well, Daryl's turned out pretty well, so.
So you're like, yeah, that's good. That's good. That's funny. But yeah, so let's talk about this. I mean, how has it been? You've been working from home now for how long?
Since right before St. Patrick's Day, so a month and a half, I'd say, almost 2 months.
Holy cow, has it even been that long?
Yeah.
That kind of blows my mind in the first place that that we have been home for that long. It literally is, it's been the longest time. So how has it been? Because now you have, I mean, how old is Emma?
She is going to be 20 months old this week.
Oh my God.
I know, and I'm like, 4 months she'll be 2. I don't think I can handle it, but I'm mentally preparing for it. I'm trying the best
In
I can.
September, Daryl will be 24. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I look great to have a 24-year-old, but still, it's still, when I see his little pictures, I'm doing something for a friend and I got pictures of him when he was little going to Disney. And that little smile, like when he was so cute and all that before he turned to be like a teenager, then an adult, it's awesome. So how is that being at home with your husband and with your baby girl and working?
It's definitely been a challenging adjustment to say the least. The first couple of weeks were the hardest, just trying to figure out, like, I'm a very routine, structured person when I'm at work. So trying to find that routine structure working from home and tackling being a mom and a wife and everything that comes along with it. It took a while to really get into like that flow of like what works, what doesn't work. And how can I work through all of it? And I mean, now I feel that I've definitely been adjusted to it for quite some time the past couple of weeks, but yeah, it's been interesting, and it just shows me I can like take on even more than I thought I was capable of. So
isn't that true though? It's like we don't know what we can do until that time comes, and all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, I could do that. And I think
that's how I felt about giving birth. Seriously.
Girl, well, wait a minute. Let's talk about that because giving birth is like thing in itself. You're like, I can do this. Yeah. But think about it. That baby's in there for a long time, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, you ready? And you're like, ready for what?
So many things. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that it's a really thing. So how are you guys balancing this? How is this balancing act with you? I know Frankie. I love him. But the man could be, like he's going to send something to me. Like, really, Barb? But being like married, I can't even imagine being in the same house for 45 days now,
Yeah.
My goodness gracious. How's that been?
Good. I mean, it definitely had, like, with the rest of the process, it's challenging. And at the same time, like, I'm grateful for it because I feel like with the way our schedules worked and taking care of Emma, we were passing ships in the night a lot. and we would get very little time when I would get home from work during the week to spend with each other. And then he would work on the weekends and I'd be Emma's primary caregiver then. And I feel like we're making up for missed time in so many ways, just together as a family, me and Frankie in our relationship, and then my relationship with Emma, because I went back to work 6 weeks after I had her. And I always I always felt really guilty about that.
Yeah.
And I feel like now I'm grateful because now I'm spending time with her and I know she like knows I'm here. I don't know if she necessarily knew how much I was around when she was 6 weeks old,
Right.
but now it's like, at first it was daddy, daddy, daddy. And now because I've been home, it's mama, mommy, so like that's starting to come out. And I'm like, I don't know if it's just her developing or because I've been around more, but either way, like,
You'll take
I'll
it.
take it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I remember right before, this lockdown, I was over at your house and I was talking to Frankie and playing with Emma, and you come walking in and she's like, Mommy, and so I can imagine, because I know taking care of Daryl at night and during the day, like I went back to work also at 6 weeks. I went back to work at 6 weeks because I looked at him and go, like, do you do anything else? This pee poop, like eat, like, let's be real here, right? And so for me, going back to work was just something so natural to me. It was not like I'm not that stay at home kind of person. It's not me at all. But I think that could be something really special, because especially for a little girl, and I see how she looks at you, and I know how she is with Frankie. So how has that dynamic within your family for her and you guys, the three of you together, and how is it different now because of the fact that, like you said, he's not working at night or he's not leaving the house? So all of a sudden, how has that shifted and how has that changed for you guys as a family?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel a lot closer. I feel a lot more connected as a family, as a mother, as a wife, as, a partner in a relationship. And at first I realized I was in such like resistance because I don't really like change, like that's forced upon me in the way that this was. So I
Yeah.
was like super resistant towards it. And we really just try to take the lead. Like if Frankie needs like, a 15-minute break because Emma's been like running rampant, I'll bring her upstairs with me and have her watch Blue's Clues while I'm shooting off an email, like, because she just
Right.
sits there and she'll watch it. She's pretty good with certain things. So yeah, it's definitely brought us closer together in a way that like I didn't even think we needed, if that makes sense.
No,
Like we were just so busy in the everyday life, the routine of what life used to look like, and now we have that new normal right now. And I've come to embrace it a lot, and I'm thankful for it.
I really like what you said, is because you don't even know that you're missing it. You don't even know that it's not there to begin with. And all of a sudden, it's like this starts to happen. And when it does, it's like, well, wait a minute, this is changing. This is something different. And that has to be, I think that's such a beautiful thing. Now, so I think for some families out there, it's not working out. Like people are ready to choke and kill some people.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't a walk in the park. It's not, no relationship is. And it's yeah, I mean, Frankie and I probably have definitely had those moments where we wanted to just like strangle each other, but it is what it is.
Yeah, orange jumpsuits probably won't work well on you and all that.
No.
I always say that. I'm like, I don't think I can go to jail because first of all, I'm way too cute. And second, orange jumpsuits are not really going to work well on me.
Right.
Those plastic shoes and those nasty bologna sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yeah, that won't work for me. I don't think so. All right. So what do you miss most about being home? Because we were talking beforehand and you have not left. And I know you're big on family. You have not left your home, for the most part. So what's the biggest thing that you miss?
My biggest thing that I miss, probably going to Starbucks and not waiting online for a half an hour for my drink. I mean, I'm grateful I have a Starbucks around me that is still open, but I had to sit on a line of 20 people long the other day. It was worth it, but
I
that's
was
why I had
waiting
nothing
for
else
you
to
to
do.
say, I was gonna, I miss the get-togethers with my family, or I miss this, and you're like, I miss Starbucks being like quick.
Well, because I think I'm still staying connected with my family,
Yeah.
it's just not in the way that I'm used to, but like I text with my parents almost every day, if not every other day. FaceTime helps,
Yeah.
things like that. So I feel like I still have that same connection. It's just not so physical. You know what
Yes.
I mean? So I guess that's why for me, it's like I just miss the mundane little everyday things, so to
Don't you?
speak.
Yeah, I was supposed to leave on this Wednesday for Jamaica in 2 days. I was supposed to.
Oh,
I
I didn't know that.
know that is sad because this is an annual trip that I've taken for I can't even tell you how long. And then all of a sudden, like life has changed so dramatically to the point that it's like, wait a minute, this is a big event, a missing of that.
Right.
And I think, when Frankie came on, because Frankie came on the show, and then, you literally text me and said, hey, I want to come on and talk and share that. And that's what I really want to talk about is that what is it like when you think about it, because you are husband and wife, and he's probably downstairs with Emma, and Emma's probably because if we can hear, because I know on Frankie's show she came busting in the door.
Mm-hmm.
It was perfect. She sat on his lap and she saw me, and I shook my head like this, and she shook her head. I was like, I love this kid. She's
Yeah.
just such a natural. So why is it that you wanted to come and talk about, your dynamics? Because I think the thing about it is there's a lot of people out there who are going through the same thing. and
Right.
and how are you guys finding that balance to not want to kill each other? And I think that's, what are you doing to help that?
Um, I mean, like I usually I try to keep some of our routine from when I was going into the office every day. So like I get up with Emma, I take her downstairs, I make her breakfast. Um, when the time comes, I'll log into work, and then Frankie usually wakes up and comes down at that point. And someone
Am I
just,
coming?
yeah, she just busted in the room.
Yes, Emma's here.
Oh, come here, your hair looks so crazy.
Oh, hi, Emma kids. What? She's
Mhm.
like, I know her.
Say,
That's
I crashed
Sarah.
daddy's show. I'm gonna crash mommy's.
Yes,
Yeah.
see, I told you she's shaking her head. Yes. What is Emma kids? If you're gonna come on camera, you really need to like really, you gotta work on that hairstyle. My gosh, she looks so much like Frankie. Oh, and guess what? We don't just have one crasher. Frankie, you might as well come on into the picture.
He walked
She looks
away.
like a troll.
Oh my gosh.
So here's Emma. And there was Frankie, kind of creepy with his hands just kind of coming into the space and everything like that. And with Emma with her brush, and there she goes.
Yeah. So
Emma's like, I am going to be the other family member that gets to come on
yeah,
your
she's
show.
gonna
And
be on your show next. She told me she wants to email you after this is all said and done.
she's like, email my auntie Barbara and tell her. I told Frankie one time, I said, if you don't call me, I'm going to get Emma her own phone, and then she can call me, and we don't have to worry about this. Okay. All right. So I don't even remember. Emma.
I think we were talking about like balance and routine and
Yes, because that's what it is. You're a working mom. You're working. You're a mom. You're a wife, a daughter, sister, the whole thing. That's
right.
a lot. And then in the middle of even if it's not in the middle of a pandemic, balancing all of that.
Yeah. I mean, balancing all of it before was a challenge. I have somewhat of, I don't want to call it high stress because I don't look at it that way, but my job has its moments where I could make the wrong decision or do the wrong thing, and it can be detrimental and blow up in my face. So um I think just, I don't even know where I was going with that, but just trying to figure out like what that all looks like, I guess. I don't know.
Well,
It's a
no,
lot.
and but you know what? This is how life is, because Emma comes busting in, and then
Right.
of course we're like Emma, and then
I know.
Frankie's
And
hand.
that's what I try to do. Like I tell Frankie, I'm like, if I have a really important email I have to get to, I'm like, she can't be sitting on the couch on the bed watching Blue's Clues. You know what I mean? Like there's
Right.
times where like I can't be doing it all, so to speak. Like I have to have that balance of like I need like carved out alone time.
Yeah.
And then there's other times where I can multitask and she can be in the room or whatever and I'm fine. But certain
Right.
things, like if I'm handling something that's pretty important, then, we
Yeah,
figure.
and as a mother and a woman, I'm listening to this new book, and like we're so geared to do it all. We're so geared that you're supposed to be the great mom. You're supposed to, and now take care of your home, take care of your husband, take care of work, and so it is literally the way things are now. I can't even when you start to think about that and think about the dynamics of that as a woman,
Right.
how do you even have time for you? You know?
Yeah. I mean, I worked really hard to get where I am, and I think one of the things that's so unique about mine and Frankie's relationship is the dynamic because, women have had to go through a lot to even get to be in this position where like I'm the breadwinner and I go to work every day, and Frankie does too in his own way, and he's also a contribution to our family, but um a lot of times I feel that taking on all of that yeah, the self-care definitely gets like pushed to the back. And I feel like as a result of this quarantine we've had going on, it's
Mhm.
forced me to look at things differently. Like I finally have gotten to tasks that, we recently bought a home in the beginning of the summer, and I had a few boxes and things I needed to get to. And then finally one night I sat down, and one of my Christmas gifts that my brother and my sister-in-law gave me were these like Thera boxes. It's one of those box subscriptions, and it had like a foot peel and a face mask and like all
Right.
these things that like normally like I feel like I don't have the 10-15 minutes to do. And Frankie came in the room one night and I had the face mask on. He's like, okay. But it felt nice to finally take that. It's like forcing me to slow down because I
Right.
think I'm always on the go, on the go. I have so much to do. I have so much on my plate. And in a way, being like forced to slow down has reminded me that like I shouldn't always need to be forced to slow down. I need to do that for myself.
Amen. And I think that the self-care part is if I think if we walk out of this with nothing else, the biggest thing we can walk out of is self-care is so important. Like
Right.
today, I was just run down completely. So I took the whole day off. I just said, that's it. I'm taking the day off. The work will be there tomorrow. Everything will be there tomorrow. And
Right.
it's so important to do that. And that's my thing is that I love that you said that because I think that we're missing that for as women. We don't. We just keep going, we
Right.
keep going. And so I think the self care is really important. So for self care, then how are your nails looking? Because
Girl, they look good.
oh, they still.
I still go see my nail girl. That's where I was coming from that day I came home and you were in my kitchen. My nail girl works out of her house, so I've been blessed.
That's so funny because I'm like my nails are great, like they're super long, right? It's like
Yeah.
all these dang on vitamins I'm taking, but don't ask me to really polish them because it would look like a hot mess, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, oh, so
The
your
right
nails.
place I've been. That's it. That's what I'll say.
You're like I swear under oath, I've only gotten my nails taken care of. That is it. So
Yep.
talking about self-care and as Emma, I mean, she's almost 2 and before you know it, she's going to be 10 and before you know it, she's going to be 18 and I know, don't cry. Um,
I was just gonna say, don't get me going.
I know you're be like, ah, my
I can't
baby.
handle the fact that she's as old as she was. I just recently went through some of her clothes because I found out a good friend of mine was pregnant with a girl, and I was like, perfect, I can give you all of Emma's old stuff. And
Yeah.
then like Frankie was like, don't do it in front of me. I'm gonna cry. And I was like, okay, and I
Such
didn't.
a mush. That's awesome. And I get that because that is a lot. I look at Daryl now as, and he's with his girlfriend and the whole thing. And I look at him like, I can't wait. I'm like, can y'all get married? And can you please sooner or later have a baby so I can go? I know, I know. He
Yeah.
tells me like, how come on. That's how
Mhm.
probably your parents were and everything. But I think the self care part of this is such a major, major thing. And I think it's one of the things that we lack in doing as women. And I know right now we're kind of stopping. And I make up that still women are still not taking care of themselves.
Yeah, totally. Especially even moms that are normally stay-at-home moms, like that's what they do to begin with. Like that's probably always been something. I mean, that they've always just put on the back burner. I'm not a stay-at-home mom, but I'm a working mom, and that was something for me. Like the nails was like the one thing I always did for myself every couple of weeks. But besides that, like, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it,
And I think the dynamic with having a stay at home dad, the fact that he does stay at home during the day and how different that dynamic is because how do you get that space of lifting him up and making sure that he's feeling honored as a man, and as this, like we call it, like the head of the household kind of thing. But how is that possible for you? I mean, making sure that he's honored and taken care of.
Yeah, I mean, I try to do what I can when I'm home too. Like on the weekends, like I make him breakfast, and I've been pretty good about making breakfast every day, although he tells me he's sick of eggs, but he knows I'm a horrible cook and like eggs are probably the one thing I'm really good at making. So,
Plus, he is super duper cook.
yeah, he
Yeah.
is. So showing him up and
You're like, honey, look, you're gonna get eggs, eggs, and eggs. So
yeah. But I mean, it's just like trying to do the small things to like show him that I appreciate him, whether it's making breakfast in the morning, cleaning up after Emma after she goes down to bed at night, to even just telling him, words of affirmation, like letting him know. And I've told him so many times, like, I could not do this without you. And it takes a strong man to feel confident enough, because I think in the role then in the positions that I'm in my life, a lot of men are typically intimidated by that and can be very easily intimidated by that. And he encourages me to step into my power, to take my career on, to, figure out who I am as a woman and what that means and what I want it to look like. And I just try to do the same for him.
I
And
love that. So let's talk about that. Who
yeah.
you are as a woman and what do you want? I like that a lot because I am this woman is it's that who are you? Who is this woman? Who is Meghann?
Mhm.
And what is it that you do want?
Yeah. Um, I just want a long, happy, healthy life with my family, um, together, spending time together. I want Emma to grow up knowing that she can do and have whatever it is that she wants because she says so, and that nothing can get in her way. Um, yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Sammy, who's on our team, and the one thing that she says that she believes I Am This Woman is all about is that women having what they want because they said so.
Yeah.
So, if she's watching, she's probably cheering you on because I think it's important because I know you are starting out and you're in the corporate world now and
Mhm.
you're building it. And so, what is your ultimate goal being in that corporate world? What is it that, like, you know, 5 years down the road, you will be where you'll be doing what?
Yeah, I'm so glad you're asking me this because I felt like the first 2 years at my job, I started my job when I was like 7 months pregnant with Emma. And I feel like the first 2 years were getting used to things, figuring out my path, figuring out how to do my job and how to do my job well. And right before this whole quarantine happened, I had sat down with my manager and talked to her like, what's next? Like, I'm ready to take this on, whatever it looks like. And she suggested about getting a mentor, and the person that had actually helped me get my job where I am now, is really good friends with my manager and my senior management team, so they were all on board and thought it was a great idea. And I had lunch with her, and right before this whole thing happened, and she's like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like,
Right.
whatever it looks like, let me sit down on meetings, because she's in the marketing department of where
Mhm.
I am. And she's like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like so excited because I finally felt like, yes, I felt like this energy coming on. Like, here I am, I'm about to jump in and take something else on. And then this happened. And I was like, oh, okay.
Okay, so are you meeting with her via phone, via Zoom? Are you connecting with her? I'm challenging you to ask this question because
Yeah.
life still goes on, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And so have you reached out and said, I know we're not doing it the normal way, but I would still like to be mentored by you?
Yeah, it's funny, I haven't yet, but I've been starting to think about that because when I first started working at home, the company that I work for is considered an essential business. And one of the things that I do for them is their social media. And things were just on fire between not having essential supplies to customer complaints and just figuring out everything.
Wow.
Like, that just went straight to the back burner for me. And now that like things are kind of starting to slow down a little bit, I feel like, okay, maybe now I can talk to her and figure out what's going on, and if there is an opportunity right now for me to kind of at least start to figure out what that process looks like, whatever it
Yeah,
is.
I make up it is. I make up that you both are strong, powerful women. And I think that it's going to be something really beneficial to you because I know who you're talking about. So I know that there is a path that she's walked. And so it'd be such a great thing for you. And that's what you're up to.
Right.
So 5 years down the road. So, like when I asked you that question of where do you see yourself in 5 years, I get the family aspect of it. In the job aspect, where do you see yourself?
I see myself definitely being in a different position than what I'm in now, taking on more, hopefully in some kind of a management role. Because where I was before I am now, I was in management. That was more so like people managing. So I see it maybe more like project managing, whether
Mhm.
it's marketing or some kind of customer service project managing, like something like that, where like I feel like I can take on, like, put all the years of my knowledge to use, because like I've been working since I was 15 in customer service, retail, whatever you want to call it, and now I work in a corporate environment, and I think I can put a unique perspective on a customer's experience just from being one myself and from providing that to people for so many years. So,
Yeah. And I want to challenge you because I think that sometimes we as women, when it comes to our career and building and doing anything, we kind of like subdue it a little bit. It's like, oh, I'll do a little bit here, but like burst out and be big with this. I think that's
right.
important. So always people on the show, I always ask them the same questions, right? So my thing is that when Kobe Bryant died, I always say this, it really did impact me big. And it's not because I followed him or anything like that, but it impacted me because his last 3 years, like he came out of high school, went right into the NBA and was playing hard, played for ridiculous amount of time. And then his last 3 years is where he really just found his legacy, found his part. So if you were going to have a legacy, what would it be? What is your legacy that you want to leave on this earth?
I'd want my legacy to be that as a woman, you can be and do and have whatever you want. And I mean, I definitely look at Emma and I see her as my legacy. You know, the things that I've taught her, the work ethic I've instilled in her, the passion, um, that I hopefully inspire and ignite as a mother. For her to want to go out and take on the world, whether she wants to be like a doctor or, a zookeeper, like whatever it is that she goes at it, and she goes at it with her whole heart and 100%. And that at the end of the day, what you do and the money you make doesn't define you. And she can
It,
be
yeah.
anything she wants.
I love that because I was talking to someone and I said to him, I said, what do you do for work? And not because we always say, so what do you do? I hate that statement because to me, it almost misses out on who you are as a person because
Right.
it's defining the job defines who you are. So I always say that. So I love the fact of what you're creating with Emma and how I know what an incredible young woman like she's going to turn into. Plus, she has, great family along with me. I love it because I'm at all your family events, so it's kind of
Yeah,
neat.
I know.
Every time there's an Emma thing, it's like Auntie Barbara's here, so I like it a lot. It makes me happy. It does. She really is something. She's something else. So, with that being said, then what I say for my motto is that I believe that women, when they really do step into who they are, they impact their life, their family's life, their community, and the world. If you were to have a motto, what would it be?
I my motto has always been a very famous quote, and I have it like all over my desk at work, and it's be the change you want to see in the world. And yeah, and it's so funny, it's true. Like no matter what it is that you do, be the change, be the difference, be just be it, and not, yeah, just
I love
own
it.
it, own your truth, own your voice, and you can
Yeah,
have it all.
I think that's a perfect way to say it. I think the reason why I am this woman is so important to me is because I want women to own their voice. I want them to have a voice. I want them to feel that they can, you coming on and sharing, like you said, whether it's a career or being the breadwinner or however it is, but still leaving that space for your husband and your family and the whole thing. I think that's so important. So I think that's what this is all about here. So if you were to leave a message for women who are watching and who will watch, what is it that you want to leave them? What do you want to say to this? And like you said, there's a purpose and a reason you wanted to come on here. So what is it that you want to leave and say for them?
Um, I'd have to say the biggest thing, the biggest lesson that I've learned that has supported me through everything in my life up until this moment is to not take things personally.
Hmm.
Things aren't a reflection of you, they're a reflection of either someone else's ideas, thoughts, beliefs, perceptions, whatever. And at the end of the day, everything is neutral. It's how you respond to it that gives it power. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
And
that's
you,
perfect. Yeah. And be grateful. Like the gratitude is so huge. That's why I know we went through the gratitude training, which made a huge difference in our life. And, sometimes we take a step in and out of it and everything, but that gratitude really does help
oh
in
yeah, it's
everything.
constantly running in the back of my mind. And I say all the time, whether it was that training or anything else, the fundamental principles that you learn and the tools that you get, I don't think I'd be where I am right now had I not had that experience, because it helped me to grow up, mature, realize that it's not just about me, and that I can put all my personal stuff to the side and go about my life and whatever. And, I used to be very like hot headed, and I used to take things very personally, and it's not like that. It's really not. And sometimes it is. Sometimes people don't want to see you do well and they want to try to
Yeah.
pull you down. But to have that discernment to still know that still isn't about you,
Right.
um, it's empowering.
I always say, like, lately I've been really clear about my circle, the circle of people who I have around me.
Hmm.
And because I think that's super important. And I think as for women, we have to really sometimes we'll accept someone in our life, even though that they're really not serving us really well,
Right.
And so I think sometimes you have to be able to say, thank you so much, but it's, here's a
Yeah.
pink slip because I no longer need you in my life. Peace, you
Yep.
know. So here's the thing about it. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you for coming here and
Thanks for
sharing.
having me.
Yeah, I love your family. I love you guys
I
so
love
much.
you.
And yeah, and that little munchkin who I miss. I told Frankie she's gonna be like, I said, can we just do a 6 feet of distancing? And I can come over and I can sit all the way in the corner and but it's hard when not seeing because Frankie and I usually see each other on a regular basis and talk like
Yeah.
a lot,
Yeah.
Yes, a lot. Yeah. Thank you for allowing me to like be besties with
You
yeah.
keep him sane, so
We say he is I am blessed to have so many wonderful people in my life, and Frankie is definitely one of those. And he's just, I don't know, he makes me better. He makes me a better friend. He really does. So for everyone out there, just in case, if you are interested in being on the show and coming on, because you never know what might be a topic that you want to have, you can go ahead and send an email to showguest@iamthiswoman.com. We are also looking for bloggers to be on our website. And the great thing about bloggers is this, is that when you think about it, you're like, well, I'm not a blogger. If you have something to share and you think that a woman reading it when the time comes and our website is launched might be helpful, please send it to us. It'd be blog@iamthiswoman.com. I am also still looking for, I think I'm down to 6 women to be a part of a book that I'm writing to tell your story. So if you are interested in doing that, then you could just send me an email at barbara@iamthiswoman.com. So a couple of different ways you can do it. Be on the show, which is show guest, write a blog, which is blog, or if you're interested in being a part of the book, barbara@iamthiswoman.com. And it's worthwhile. It's something that we're all about lifting up women. We're all about making it something really special. This I Am This Woman is all about that. And Meghann, you are the epitome of a I Am This woman because you are about taking care of your family and taking care of yourself and loving your husband and loving your children. And your child, look, I said children. I just gave you another child.
Not yet, please.
Frankie's gonna be like, he's gonna call me afterwards.
Don't tell me you're like Miss Cleo now, pulling some psychic crap into the future.
This is awesome. I have a little ball. Frankie and Meghann, I see a baby coming your way. That's so awesome.
No.
So Meghann, how we always close out the show is we ask the person to say their name and say, I am this woman. So if you could go ahead and do that for us.
Sure. My name is Meghann Curran, and I am this woman.
And I am Barbara Hort, the host and founder of I Am This Woman, and I am definitely this woman. Thank you guys so much, and we love you. Be safe and take care of yourself. Bye now.
Bye. Thanks.